Hello again. Welcome to Summit VB Fan. I'm your host, Jeremy Cleveland, and we continue our countdown to first serve. This time around, I'm joined by the head coach of the Omaha Mavericks, Matt Buttermore. He's on his way to Cedar Falls. You guys are going to take on the UNI Panthers tomorrow. Is that correct, Coach?
That's correct. We're on the bus. Sorry about the bouncy video. We got our man Daryl here on the driver.
Hey, way to highlight
He
the
drives
driver.
about 90% of our trips. He's awesome. Oh yeah, you always gotta keep the driver happy, right, Daryl?
Yeah, yep. And
Daryl's our favorite.
Hopefully he can get into those key food locations on the trip as well. That's always critical on every road trip, at least for me anyway. But, Coach, before we get to this year's team, I want to reflect back on last year. I know looking at you and your coaching staff, you take a great deal of pride on the players that you've developed over the course of time, and you lose a couple good ones from last year that won some awards in Jurgensmeyer and Huss. Talk to me about their contributions and the rest of the group you lost last year.
Yeah, I think, last year's group's legacy was our culture. We had tremendous gym culture. We had a great family. Family is one of our values, and they did a tremendous job of building that over the course of the year, regardless of the results. And that's transferred into this season. So they have a great legacy in our gym. Kaylee and Emily specifically, obviously Kaylee's been a great player for us for 4 years. Had some knee injuries in high school. We were always kind of battling, but took on the role of being a 6 rotation player last year and handled it really well. And was one of the best players in the conference. So, and we're excited about her future, and she's on her way to med school, and we think she was a great Maverick. And Emily, same thing. She grew up with some back issues, and so we were always kind of fighting some of that. But regardless, she was still one of the best blockers in the country last year, and helped us get to the first NCAA tournament. And really was a force in blocking in the conference. She was not somebody you wanted to see across the net from you. I wouldn't want to, and I'm almost as tall as she is. So we will definitely miss both of them this year.
Yeah, and when you look at how you replace them along with the rest of the 7 that departed, you end up going to the transfer portal for 3. You go to high school players for 3. Talk to me about the decision process there on bringing in experience instead of all freshmen.
We needed some players, and by the time you get to fall of a high school student senior year, they're all committed. So we needed a 6 rotation outside. We got that in Maddie Korf. We needed a setter, and we got that in Maddie Stusser. And we got a heck of an athlete with a big arm in Hayden Hart. So they were all great additions and people we really needed in our program.
Okay. And one of the key returners for you this year, all freshman team last year, Faith Venable, who ended up in, I believe, the top 25 in 5 different Summit League statistical categories last year. Just how good is she?
Really good. I think she was the top freshman point scorer last year. I'd have to go back and look, but and she's a player that played middle and high school, and so we moved her to the pin. And because we maybe weren't as deep as we would have liked to, she played a lot, and she played a lot of 6 rotation. And so she got a lot of really good experience. And, Faith's a really humble and intentional player when she comes into the gym. So she's always ready to work and always really focused on the things she needs to do to get better. And she also has big goals for herself. So you're going to keep seeing her get better and better throughout this year and then the coming years.
Okay. And when you take a look at the rest of your returning players, when you compare to last year, maybe even seeing this spring, what players are probably going to make the biggest step forward this upcoming season?
Ooh, that's a good question. Biggest step forward. I'd have to think more about last year. I think, Elizabeth is one that had some big moments last fall and was maybe not as consistent as she wanted to be. So if she can be more consistent this fall, I think she's one that could, and put up. She doesn't have to put up the huge numbers every game, but she can't have as many bad games. So we see her be more consistent. I think she's one that could really step forward. Laura has improved as a hitter. Last year, she was the player we went in if we needed a better block. but we didn't like setting her that much. And she's, at times in the spring was our go-to hitter. Still a little up and down, but she's still young, and we're really excited about her future as well.
Okay. Now, speaking of young, you do have the 3 freshmen coming in. I'm going to ask about the kid from my backyard right away from West Fargo, who apparently doesn't drink hot coffee. I don't understand that one. I watched that interview of teammates interviewing teammates, but tell me about Cora Metcalf.
See, I miss that. I don't have any social media on my phone anymore, so I miss a lot of the stuff. But Cora asks great questions in the gym. We knew she'd be a little raw, but she's one that's developed really nicely so far this preseason. She's going to get some good reps tomorrow against UNI, and she's a smart player. And I think certainly as we get her more and more all around training, she's going to get really comfortable on the Division I volleyball court. So I think I'm a little higher on her now than I was probably when we recruited her.
Okay, that's very encouraging to hear, and I know the local reports on her, obviously, we're singing her praises, so we can't wait to see how she does there for you. You also bring a national top 150 recruit in Kate, plus a Canadian recruit, so tell me about those two and what to expect from them this year.
Kate's a little ball of energy. She has come in and made an impact. She is an extremely scrappy defender, and we have not, I think she's going to set the tone in our backcourt in terms of being a scrappy defensive group. And I don't, and not for lack of trying, but that's something we just weren't last year. We were kind of taller and lankier, and we weren't as scrappy as we could have been. And so, Kate's going to set that tone in our backcourt this year. And then Dara, has a ton of experience, has played a ton of volleyball. A very physical player, big arm, good serve, and she's one that's really going to continue to develop throughout the year, and we're excited about her.
Okay, you saw Wichita State obviously to open your exhibition play. What were your biggest takeaways from that exhibition match?
We didn't hit and block as well as we would have liked to, and serve at times, but we did pass well and we dug well. And, a lot of times hitting and blocking take a little while to get into as you get into the year, and you can work on those things and get better at them. Passing is harder to improve. So I was really happy with our serve receive. We have probably 4 to 5 really good passers this year. And so if we can maintain, the right behaviors and habits, we're going to be a really good passing team.
Okay. And with the UNI match tomorrow, UNI, of course, typically towards the top of the valley. I think they're the preseason favorite once again. What specifically are you trying to see from your team in that particular match tomorrow? Are you gonna basically try a lot of different mixes on the court, or what's kind of the game plan there?
Well, we got a couple strains and bumps and bruises, so we're going to be a little limited in who all is playing tomorrow. So we're ready for Washington State next week. But it's going to be a good opportunity for some of our players that if we were playing to win a match, maybe they wouldn't get in as much. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is getting some really good experience. UNI brings everybody back, so they're going to be a really quality opponent, polished, ready to go. And we're going to have some kids get some good experience against that kind of team. And we're treating it like a game day, but it's certainly obviously a little lower stakes environment. So I think that's the opportunity for us tomorrow.
Okay. And then you referenced the trip to Pullman to start the season. You're going to be taking on Washington State and Central Michigan there. When you take a look at your non-conference, you're still going to play, 4 top 100 programs from a season ago. You end your non-conference with a big home match against Kansas State. Give me your thoughts and the logic behind the non-conference scheduling this year.
Yeah, we obviously, Jeremy, sometimes the schedule just is what it is. Sometimes we have a really hard time putting schedules together, and we end up playing some Power Fours, even though we wanted to play maybe 3 Power Fours instead of 5. But we always want to challenge our team, and so I think this is a good balance between those 2 ideas. And it came together quickly in January. We didn't, necessarily, we hadn't seen some of our transfers play in our gym yet, and so we didn't want to put a schedule together while we're still trying to figure out our identity in the fall. That was going to be really hard to win. So I think we got some good challenges. A really tough tournament in Northern Arizona. That'll be a very 3 tough games at altitude. So excited about that one. We don't have many easy ones or really any easy ones, I don't think, on our schedule, um, but I think we have the right balance between challenge and winnable.
Okay. And yeah, looking at your trip to Flagstaff there, Northern Arizona, Riverside, and Grand Canyon, all solid programs. You've won 7 years at Omaha. You've averaged over 12 plus wins per year. What has it taken to build a program to that level of consistency and winning at that level?
Yeah, we have good assistants. We have a lot of support in the department, and we've had some really tremendous student athletes. I tell people every year at Omaha we've had more to work with, so it's been an exciting place to be with. We got the facility coming online in a couple of years. And so just, being a part of the athletic department, that's always growing. Since I've been here has been a big part of that. Being part of an institution that's been growing since I've been here has been a big part of that. And then being in a state where volleyball is really important. And so you combine a lot of those things, and we've been fortunate to have some success and some really cool experience and been blessed with some wonderful opportunities.
Yeah, I've been following some of your social media. I still do have social media, Coach. So, you guys are putting together some facilities that Power Four programs would be jealous of. That training facility looks fabulous.
Yeah, we've got some very generous donors in Omaha. We've got a great admin team that have really seized upon success of our department over the last 3 years, and have done a good job of leveraging that into not only just facilities, but resources for athletes, and whether it's mental health, strength training, nutrition. Then obviously the biggest cherry of all cherries is going to be that facility where we'll have a home down at right next to Baxter, connected to Baxter. Our own locker room, lounge area. We don't have those things right now, but it's going to be top notch.
Okay, a couple more questions for you. You've obviously, this is your 8th year as a head coach in the Summit League. And speaking to some outsiders here recently, they've made the comment, the Summit League is special. What's your opinion of the Summit League and the quality of volleyball in this league?
It's changed a lot. One reason we scheduled so tough when I got here, because the league was not very deep. And so, we had, 2 or 3 opponents that, were 50-50 games. And beyond that, we knew if we played pretty well, we were going to win. And we had probably three teams in the conference that were in, the bottom 300 RPI wise. And so we had this juice our RPI somehow, because we were just playing those teams, we would go down. And so that's top to bottom, we've got a strong conference with schools that care about volleyball, and we got really good coaches and athletes in the conference. So, as it gets deeper, our conference season gets more and more exciting and more intriguing, and something, we have to prepare for at a higher and higher level.
Okay. Last question for you here, Coach. Final expectations for you this year. If Coach Buttermore is happy at the end of the season, what will you have accomplished?
My goal for this season is to maximize the potential of each of our players, and I think we have a very talented group. But that's what I stay focused on every day. I'm not a coach that looks down the schedule and says, "Oh, we could win that one, lose that one." I don't have a record in mind. I know if we do our job as a staff at a really high level, our players are going to be in a really good chance to win a lot of volleyball games.
Okay. Thank you very much, Coach. Best of luck to you this season. I think I will see you on September the 26th when you make a return trip to Fargo. I think we had a 5-set marathon last year in Fargo, correct?
Yeah, that's not unusual up there.
Yeah, no, then that's why I need the ice there, because once again, that place gets hot. I know that much. But hey, safe travels on your trip to Cedar Falls, and best wishes tomorrow, and look forward to catching up with you after your trip to Pullman, okay?
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you much, Coach. That, once again, Matt Buttermore, the head coach of the Omaha Mavericks, as we continue our countdown to first serve. Yeah, we're going to play volleyball for real next week, and the Mavericks will be in action once again on the road at Washington State. Until we meet again, everyone, have a great day.